And let's welcome to stage Master Tony Sewell. Whoa! Go and see my brother. Now, Tony, when I was a boy, you probably don't even know me, right? And that's fine, that's not a problem. But when I was a boy, when I was at school, you was a legend. We all heard about Tony Sewell. I'm not going to embarrass you now, you know, but so I'm still. And we all heard about you doing Taekwondo. You used to train a few friends that I knew. Kenny Fox, Melvin Fox. And there was a guy, you probably wouldn't know him, a guy called Paul Holiday. Way back in the day, you don't remember him, yeah? No. But he was being trained by you, he was my best friend. And he was telling me, you got to come down and see this guy fight. And we went to some of the tournaments that you did, that you was involved in. And we heard about, you know, we saw you. And I used to try and train and kick my foot up in the air and wave it like I just don't care. And but I never attained your level. Now, you've been doing Taekwondo for how long now?
35 years.
35 years, man. And I'm not being funny, but you look younger than me. How do you do that? Oil of Julia?
Marry somebody younger than me.
That's why you do it, man. That's how you roll. No, okay, so let's go back in time, right? Because I remember when I was a kid, I used to want to watch Enter the Dragon. Now, Enter the Dragon came out, was it 1973?
Yes, it did, yeah.
Now, were you fighting, were you doing martial arts before 1973?
I started karate way back when, and then I stopped, and then I went to see Enter the Dragon with my parents because I was too young to get in at the time.
Wait, it's an 18, and you still getting to watch the film with your parents?
I did.
Listen, I wore platforms, I had false identification, everything, and then dashed me out the building.
Well, the secret was I used to use my sister's eyeline pencil.
I like your style, bro. That's right.
The beard.
Is that how you do it?
Okay,
I got turned away so many times, so that's how you did it. Now, when you watched Enter the Dragon, did it leave any impression on you? What did you think at the time?
Yeah, as I watched it, I thought, wow, I've got to get back into martial arts. So as soon as I came out of the pictures, the lampposts were in trouble because I started kicking them, started doing all kinds of stuff, and my friends were fighting on the street, going kung fu fighting. And I thought, I've got to take this seriously now and go and find a club. And my two brothers were training at the time at Taekwondo, so I thought I'd go and check it out. Because I used to say martial arts is rubbish, and I did say that because I used to do karate for a long time with my uncle, and I didn't like it. So I went to the club, watched my brothers, and I thought, you know what, this stuff is good. And I thought, I've got to get in this. And I said to them, they said, you don't want to do this, do you, Tony? And I said, not really, because I don't think it's any good. But I said, I need to keep fit. So I joined the club. And then that was it from there. I just sailed into it.
Now, okay, so I think it was 1976 is when you started to do Taekwondo, is that correct?
77.
77, okay, I stand corrected. The year Elvis Presley died?
Yeah.
Okay. So why Taekwondo? Was it because your brothers were doing it?
Yeah, because my brothers were doing it, and I actually loved the way they kicked. Because karate, when I was doing karate originally, it was very traditional and a bit stiff and rigid. It didn't suit me as a person because I used to like Muhammad Ali, I liked the way Bruce Lee moved, and I thought I'm more that kind of a character. So Taekwondo allowed me to be that person.
What does Taekwondo mean?
The art of hand and foot.
Okay. Now, I've seen you fling your foot, the way you fling it. How do you learn, how do you train to get to that standard?
As much as possible. Many years ago, I used to have a girlfriend.
Be careful.
And the secret was, you'd go to see your girlfriend with your kit bag, put your kit bag in the entry, go in, make up an argument for no reason. So I'm walking out, go to the entry, get my kit bag, go training, come back, tell her I'm sorry.
Like your style.
And I managed to get a lot of extra sessions in, training sessions.
I'm making notes as we speak, don't worry about that. Okay, so when you first started Taekwondo, because you did karate like you said initially at the start, when you started to do Taekwondo, what age were you then?
I just turned 17.
17. And when you first walked into the gym, did you immediately enjoy it, or what?
Yeah, I enjoyed every bit of it. It was very strict back then, the instructor, old school, can't do it today, and I don't do it to my students. My instructor would punch you if you got out of line. He would set you up with one of his black belts, and you'd get kicked all over the place.
What's wrong with that?
Well, these days you can't do that.
Okay, no problem. Pity.
I'd like to do it to some kids,
Is it?
especially one called J-Roop.
Beautiful. So that's how you learned. Now, I think you entered your first tournament as a green belt?
Green belt, yes.
And how did you get on in that first tournament?
Well, I went to that, and I remember I was nervous for about a week before, and the day I got up in the morning to go to the tournaments, all I knew is my legs were not functioning. All I felt is jelly legs. Got to the competition, sat down, and I think when you get really nervous, you get really sleepy. So I used to just sit down, and everybody thought I was cool. It was just nerves. And then when I got up, they called my name out, and that was it. Jelly legs just hitting. Stood in front of somebody, he looked at me, I looked at him, the referee says, fight. And I thought, legs, don't fail me now. And they did, they failed me. I just punched the guy, silly.
Did you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
And I thought to myself, all that training, I didn't use my legs much the first time I went. And my mate, Jimmy Cousins, if anyone knows Jimmy, the saxophone player, he was just flying. He was just, and the crowd was cheering him, and I thought, boy, he's doing better than me. He's got all the crowd on his side. And I thought, you know what, I need to fight more like him, get my groove on. So I wanted to go into another competition. So I did. Still the same thing. My legs don't want to know about it. Too nervous. Eventually, I got to the stage where I started to relax, and then that's when I started to flow. I got my groove on.
And your nickname was?
Iceman. Originally, it started out as Cool Cat. Not from me. That's what they said. I was cool. Basically, I was just tired because I was nervous.
Really?
And so I used to go to tournaments, and they said, "Oh, you're like a cool cat." And I used to hate that name. And then somebody gave an interview in a magazine, the coach did, and he goes, "Oh, he's like an Iceman," and that was it. They started to call me Iceman after that.
Now, how long were you doing fighting in tournaments?
Oh, years. I think about 12, 15 years, competitions, yeah.
And did you ever lose a tournament?
No.
You were undefeated?
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about that? I mean, come on. You see, I remember when I was a kid, right, that I was undefeated at Ludo, and it was a great feeling. Is it something like that?
Tell the truth, I never thought about it until I started to feel the old age coming on. And I actually dug out videos of myself and stuff like that, because I'd never really watched myself. And then I got the videos out, and I thought, you know what, I was fast back then.
Yeah. Do you not fast now?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask my students.
I'll ask them in a bit.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you clearly went through all the ranks,
Yes.
all the belts and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the belts? Because, you know, all I know is black belt.
Well, we go first dan, which is higher than a black belt. Then we go second dan, third dan, fourth dan, fifth dan, sixth dan, seventh, eighth, ninth, and then 10th, you're usually dead.
Wow.
Because it takes that long to get there.
Really?
Most people who are 10th dan are basically dead.
Really?
And that's the truth. It is.
Really? So,
Yeah.
okay, to get to that level, how good have you got to be? I mean, is that how it works?
No, it works on the fact that you are still in martial arts, bringing people to martial arts, and you're still promoting martial arts, and you're still active. And you stop taking tests for belts at, say, fourth dan, fifth dan. So after that, people get together, sit down, think, you know what, Mr. Tony Sewell's been in it for a while now, we should promote him to so-and-so grade. That's how it works.
So what Dan are you? I presume you're a Dan,
I am,
as opposed to a Don.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm a master now.
Okay.
I'm classed as a master.
How does that work? I mean, what level is that?
Once you hit sixth dan in Taekwondo, you're classed as a master.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, I remember there's a guy called, is it Mr. Ree?
Yeah, Riki I.
Okay, is he still around?
He is still around.
And
yes.
what Dan is he?
He's classed as a master, grandmaster.
Grandmaster?
Yeah.
Like Flash?
Yeah, Grandmaster Flash.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what level is that? What?
He's up to ninth dan now, so he's a grandmaster.
And you are at what, Dan?
7th.
Wow. What? Are you the only person in Derby at 7th, Dan?
In Taekwondo,
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know anyone else who is in
Okay.
Derby.
Because, you see, I was trained in the other art of origami, so
Yeah.
I don't think our paths will ever cross on the battlefields. But don't try to own kids, because I'm trained in this art, so don't, you know what I mean? It's dangerous. Okay, so when you were starting, did you ever think to yourself you'd ever become a master?
No, not really, no.
Because there's a story when you're, I think you win your first tournament and you ask your brothers what they think, and they said what?
Well, they thought I thought I was good.
Yes.
When I hit green belt, I thought I was the baddest green belt on the planet, basically. And I said to my younger brother, Michael, who's a higher grade than me at the time, and I goes, what do you reckon? He goes, I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he goes, your kicks are
Not good.
And I says, what's wrong with them? He says, they're not very good. Anyway, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to show him that I am the baddest green belt on the planet. So we're sparring in the club. In them days, the instructor just let you fight. And it was bare hands.
Wow.
All I remember is seeing stars, and Mikey hit me with a kick. My nose splattered, blood was everywhere, but I'm too proud to go down. So I stood up and kept on fighting, and I was trying to wipe the blood off me. My suit was red, and my instructor just stood there and watched this.
Serious? Was he blind?
No, he just fought two brothers. That's how brothers fight. So I kind of thought, you know what, Mikey kicked my... And I thought, you know, I've got to go back to the drawing board. He's right. And I actually wanted to pack up, because he's my younger brother.
Wow.
And he embarrassed me in a room full of people like this.
So what made you not give up? Because I would have packed my bags, bro, and done.
No, because I'm always one of them people, if you tell me I can't do something, I want to try and do it. So I kind of like looked at him, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get better than you, I'm going to come back and I'm going to sort you out.
And did you?
I did, but he's my younger brother, so.
Okay.
But we competed once ever, because we were both the same weight at the time. And I beat him in the British Championships.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about Howard? 'Cause Howard's older, isn't he?
Howard's older.
Is he still doing Taekwondo?
I don't know what Howard does, because we don't see Howard.
Is it?
he's the what do you call it?
Black sheep of the family.
No, he's not the black sheep.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
He's a recluse.
Really?
We see him when we see him. He comes to family dues if he's coming to the family do. I'll come if I'm coming. He's like that.
What about Mikey? Is he still...
Mikey lives in Spain, and me and Mikey always chat. I tell the truth, I see Mikey more than I do Howie, and Howie lives up the road.
Is he still fighting, still
Mikey,
training?
no. Mikey's joined the beer barrel club.
I understand. So there's a article that I read, only one thing I read about you, just to have a little bit of a background on you. And it was talking about, I think in the 80s, when you went for some tournament and there was some kind of politics going on. Do you want to tell us the story?
Well, there's always politics on WTF and ITF style. They said to me that if we go into the Olympics, it's not my phone.
It's the Baylors.
Oh.
Karen, bro, sorry.
Yeah, if I to get into the Olympics, they were going to have an event where we fight off against WTF style. WTF style is the Olympic style. If you ever watch the Olympics, anyone in here who does WTF Taekwondo, I feel sorry for you, because it is not the best Taekwondo on the planet. And they said that if we fight and win, then I will go to the first Olympics when it's going to be the showpiece.
1988, is that right?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. And I competed in this competition in Cannock. And they said, if you win, you'll go to the Olympics. So I thought, great, I'm going to go to the Olympics. And so we go to this competition, and I have 5 fights, I think it was. And it's supposed to be full contact, so they're telling me anyway. So I thought, well, best just knock them out. So I knocked the first fighter out, knocked the second fighter out, knocked the third fighter out, and I thought, you know what, I'm doing well. I'm not even doing much fighting, I'm just kicking them, boom, that's it. So the 5th fight, which was the final, I got busy on the guy, and then they chucked the towel in. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to pack my bags. I'm going off to the Olympics. Lo and behold, politics took over again. They said I don't look like a WTF fighter.
What does a WTF fighter look like?
Have you seen Can-Can?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do, like a Can-Can.
Okay.
They go like that. They don't use their hands to punch. They don't do any of that stuff. They don't block. They don't anything. So they didn't take me anyway.
And how did you feel when you missed out on the opportunity?
I just thought, you know what? It's their loss.
Were you vexed?
Kind of, but then I thought, you know what? All I'll do is fight their world champion. So I lined up a fight with him. Then I beat him.
Easy? Hard?
I beat him the first time. It was hard. The second time, because he come back again to try and fight me again. Another time, he came to England because he's Dutch.
Okay.
So he came to fight me, but this time I was like pumped up, and it was just like a main event fight. So, and people was as close as they are today. So I just tore into him.
You said with relish. You know, did you enjoy tournament fighting?
Initially, no. Then I kind of like want to keep testing myself. I suppose I'm like the boxer who never wanted to retire, who wants to keep pushing themselves, and like I didn't want to sidestep anybody. So I carried on for a good while, but then I came to the stage where my son was born. It was Lewis who's there.
Okay, the white T-shirt.
Yes.
Oh. Is he dangerous like you as well?
He's dangerous to himself.
Oh, that's all right.
yeah, and then I kind of like started to get all the what all fathers do. Started thinking seriously about life and what if this happened to me? Who's going to look after him? Who's going to that and and all that stuff, which kind of messes with your mind. Tell the truth. While you're standing there in competition, thinking I'm not getting paid for this, and this guy's trying to kill me. Yeah.
So, okay, what year did you become world champion?
Oh, gosh, you can ask me years. 1991, 1980, and oh, come on, Jay, think of it. You've read the trophies. I did it 3 times. So he's useless as like me. 88, there you go, that's Shire's. 81, yeah.
81.
See, he's better than me.
Well done. So you were world champion 81.
Shire's. 91.
Okay.
Right.
Now, when you fought at, it's heavyweight you fought at.
Heavyweight, yeah.
Now, did you have to fight anybody they put in front of you?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
And was there anybody on the scene that you thought you were kind of like either scared of or wary of, or put your own word in there?
Not really, to tell the truth. I didn't work like that. I always think to myself, the hardest fight you're going to have is with you yourself. Most of the time, everybody's got 2 legs, 2 hands, and they've got to do the same similar things to me. It's how they put it together. So I never really feared anybody, except myself and my wife.
Good man. Now, I'm not sure, you see, I didn't even research any of this, but people who knew I was going to speak to you said to ask you these 2 questions. One is about Van Damme.
Okay.
Now, you just explain.
Many years ago, Van Damme came on the scene and he had a big profile that he's done this underground fighting and all this stuff. And then they wanted me and him to fight. And I says, yes, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. He goes, then he wrote in an article, he's not a fighter, he's just an actor. So it never ever took place.
Van Damme said he's not a fighter, he's just an actor.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And how well do you think you would have done against him?
And he's not a heavyweight.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm 6'2.5", and he's, I don't know, 5 foot something. He's not very tall.
You don't look at me when you said that, you know. I'm not wearing my platforms today, so all right. So you weren't daunted in the slightest?
No.
And what I also heard about, there was opportunities for films.
Yeah, I was going to go to America, me and my friend, and he actually did leave England, jumped on a plane, and he ended up in China instead.
Did he get lost?
No, he thought he'd start that way rather than go to America. So he got into the Hong Kong film industry.
Really?
So he actually appears with Jackie Chan. He got to Jackie Chan's crew. He came in a film with Van Damme, Quest. And if you ever seen On Leash, anyone seen On Leash, with the guy in the white suit at the very end, that's my friend Lambert, Michael Lambert.
Is he from Derby?
No, he's from up north, Doncaster. And he actually runs a stunt school now. So he came in Batman, he's appeared in Batman, X-Men, quite a few films now, and he's in the new film, what's that one? Kick-Ass.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in the Kick-Ass too. Yeah, he's in that. So sometimes he phones me up. Once we'd had a laugh. I was coming from Scotland from a competition, and he phoned me, and he said, "Guess where I am?" I said, "I don't know, Mike. It's raining, it's cold, I'm coming home." He goes, "Guess what? Go on, Tony." I says, "Oh, you're probably with Ali Belly." And he goes, "Can you see me, Tony?" I says, "No." He goes, "I'm in Jamaica." He says, I've just had to train Halle Belly how to kick for the Bond movie. You remember the Bond movie that they did? Well, he trained her to do a bit of martial arts in the movie. I says, "You lucky."
Your wife saying it, bro.
So, yes.
So why didn't you ever get involved in it? Because, I mean, I watch martial arts all the time. And I think you could do all right in them films. You could be the new Black Belt Jones.
Well, I decided to stay in England, set up a club, and look after me son, Lewis.
Wow.
And Daryl at the time.
And, I mean, I know other people who just left the family behind and gone about their business, but you didn't.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, now, going back to the films and stuff. I mean, do you watch martial arts films?
Not as much as I used to do. I used to watch them, but now they become predictable. It's, you've seen it all, done it all. So I tend not to watch them.
Okay, what about when you used to watch like Bruce Lee? Did you rate Bruce Lee?
I did in the early days. I'm not going to upset anybody out.
No, please.
I did in the early days, and then as I started to watch him, if you ever watch when he's actually his training videos, when he's actually just messing about, he's actually very weak on one leg.
Oh, really?
Yes, but his hand techniques are good. But I reckon I could have took him.
Okay. What about Jim Kelly?
You know what? There's much, because we all did that back in the day when I had an afro.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, now it grows elsewhere.
That's
out your ears and everywhere else. Yeah, back in the days when I saw him in Enter the Dragon, we used to, me afro, I thought, get the old comb. I wanted the yellow banana suit.
That's
kinda
right.
Like, used to say I'm Black Belt Jones, or, and we used to mess about. But then, as I got better, I started actually watching his kicks. If you ever watch his kicks are abysmal.
Wow.
His hand techniques are good, but his leg techniques are not pretty.
Okay, Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan is more performance art school, so he's actually trained. I'm not a Jackie Chan fan, but his films are okay. He's more acrobatic, comedic, which I'm not too into, to tell the truth.
Jet Li.
Jet Li is a better fighter to me. He's not my favorite because he's small.
Okay, you like big guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like a guy who's a reasonable height who can kind of like look the business. He's down here. When he's knocking out some big guy, I think no chance.
Tony Jaa. Tony Jaa.
Oh no, I like him. He's good. Dangerous.
Any of you guys seen Tony Jaa in any of his films? On Back 2?
On Back.
Awesome, innit?
He's very good.
Yes.
Very good.
So, okay, imagine to yourself, right, sorry? Someone shouted Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris back in the day, because I met him, he's very small as well.
Oh dear. But everyone's small in comparison to you.
Yeah, very small.
You are a mountain.
Yeah, but Chuck Norris, back in the day, was really good.
Really?
But Bill Wallace, if you ever seen Bill Wallace, Superfoot Wallace,
No.
he was the best at the time. Very
Really?
good. He's one-legged, because he's got polio in the other leg, but his left leg was lethal.
Really?
Yeah.
So who was your favorite action star, martial art action star?
Oh, no, Bruce Lee.
Really?
Yeah, Bruce Lee was for me.
Even though you thought his technique was a bit weak?
No, he puts together better films.
Okay.
He puts together better fight routines, more realistic to me than the others. Jackie Chan will use chairs, dive over this and all that stuff. That don't happen. As soon as I try to jump over it, I trip, drop.
Mash it up.
Yeah, mash down the whole house.
So if you was offered the chance now to get into films, for example, would you take it now? Now your children have grown up, apart from your little?
Well, if my wife ain't watching, only if I had a love scene with Ali Belly.
Is it? You and Devon.
Would I take it now? Yeah, I would, yeah. I'd have a laugh, because to me, you got to try everything in life.
Okay, now let's go back to your martial arts school in Derby. Now, tell me a bit about it. How long has it been around? What made you start to do it?
Basically, many years ago, I was training at my instructor's club, and he just walked up to me and just says, "You know what? No black man can run no club."
Really?
Closed. And I looked at him, I thought, huh? I had no intentions of opening a club. I just was enjoying training. And because he said it to me, I kind of looked at him and thought, but you have respect for your instructor. But then I thought, you know what, I'm going to open the club and prove him wrong. So I kind of we split away from the association I was with.
Why?
Why? Politics, as usual.
So when did you start the club? I mean, what year are we talking?
82.
And you would have been what age then?
22.
22?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And how many students did you have when you first started?
Well, the first day I had 40 students.
Wow.
Yeah, because I advertised at the time. I just won the World Championships, and we flew back from Argentina, and I came back home. Local television, Central. It was Central. Yeah. Central back then. Central Television was there, and I'm like, I thought, get my glasses on. Flick my afro up, and I'm like going. And they just went straight to my coach, walked past me. I won the World Championship. Start talking to the coach. Papers were there. And then I thought, I'll come back to Derby. Walking in the street, nobody said nothing to me. So I thought, well, bugger them. I thought, so I kind of sat back. Next minute, television came to my club and came to my instructor's club and decided they wanted to do a bit of a film on us. Started filming us and talking about us. And back in them days, on the television, when I watched it later on, this is how they described me. Instead of saying Tony Sewell is on the left, Tony Sewell is the dark man on the left. I thought, why would you say that? Anyway, so I always look back at that and think, oof, television's changed. So anyway, I got all that publicity, so I thought, you know what, when I open my club, I put some posters up at the West Indian Centre. That's where I opened my club, and 40 people turned up.
Wow.
40 people signed up that night, and there was me, my brother, two brothers who ran the club. Yeah, and that's how it started.
Wow, so that's about 30 odd years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
31.
Yeah.
30, right?
32.
32? I can't. Maths, take my shoes off, so can't toes. Okay, and when you were about to start the club, were you nervous?
Yep, we had a laugh, because Terry Christian was, he used to live on our street, Reginald Street, and him and my dad were kind of like friends. And Terry Christian says, you know what, Tony, I'll do this. I'll do a live broadcast on the radio at the same time. So he came down and he did that. And I remember me and Howard, there's about, 100 odd people in this room. And me and Howie and Mikey, we thought it would be cool. So I went up to talk and I went, and then Mikey jumped in and Mikey went, and then Howie jumped in and Howie goes, right. I said, let's just do something. And then we started kicking and punching, and we did we had a demonstration all set up that we did, and we did a big display for everybody. Then people joined from that. And
you see, I look at you. I mean, I've known of you all my life. I used to see you walk the street, and I used to always think to myself, right, how comes this big person, in terms of most kids had heroes, and you was one of mine. I grew up and I wanted to be Tony Sewell.
Yeah.
Because everybody at school knew you because of your exploits and what you did.
Where were the girls then back then?
Well,
Why is it man?
It's just the brothers, you see, because we had a hero up to that point. I mean, you got to remember, for those who are young, back in the day, there was no like black heroes, bar Shaft.
Yeah.
On TV. Or you
Got
had
the
to go to the
jacket.
cinema. Sorry?
I've got the jacket.
Yeah, there you are. And that was it. But then we had this man, Tony Sewell and the other brothers, who were not just good at martial arts, but were the best. And your reputation was getting bigger and bigger. And I remember going on coach trips to see you fight at tournaments. I went to Hinckley a few times.
Yeah.
And saw you fight. There was a guy that was somebody that was kind of, not so much your rival. I'm not sure if his name was Brian, the Hatchet Man or something.
No. There
Tell
was
me.
Kim Stones.
There you are, so close.
There's Kim Stones. There's a few others who wanted to knock me off my pedestal. But mostly it was Kim, because he was a pretty boy.
Is it?
Blonde hair, swift back.
Yeah.
Got all the teeth until I broke his jaw.
Is that for real?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Kim was the main man, and he would have probably have been the top fighter if I wasn't around, but I wasn't going to let that happen.
So, okay, I remember when I was at school, right, when somebody would say to me, I'm going to get you. I remember back in the day, I'm not going to mention any names, Robert Whittaker said to me, I'm going to have you after school, right? And he battered me, in front of all these girls. It wasn't good, it wasn't pretty. It was so bad, the police had to come and take me home, and my hair was all over the place. I had an afro, and it didn't look good when you get beat up, bro. Which you wouldn't know about that. So, but when someone says to you, "Let's fight," I kind of got nervous, and the thing is, my nervous energy would cause me to have flatulence. Did you have any nervous kind of actions?
Never.
Not that one.
No.
Were you ever nervous?
Yeah, I've been nervous. I think the first time I went abroad, I flew to Argentina.
Wow.
23 hours on a plane is not nice.
To fight?
To fight, yes. And I went there, and I'd never seen such a big crowd, because all of a sudden their newspapers and their television covered it. So we get off a plane, they're in your face, they're saying this, saying that, and they're speaking to you in Spanish, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? We've just come from England. Normally, in normal tournaments, it's not this big media fuss. So I was thinking, I'm nervous, man. So we go to the tournament, and I sat there, you know what? No one in England's going to see me lose out here. I kind of got that defeatist attitude. And the worst thing is, I had somebody who was from Argentina, big guy.
Bigger than you?
Well, he's bigger than me, yes.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I thought, you know what? Sure, no one's going to see me in England lose. I can make up some story when I get back.
Yeah. That's right, before cable.
So, yeah, there ain't no TV coming over here. So I got up, and it was fighting over 3 rounds then. And I looked at him, and I was nervous. I think he's like, why am I so nervous? And I started fighting him. And I was losing the first round, and I knew I was. And I sat down, and my coach goes to me in my ears, use a swear word. He goes, what do you think you're doing, Tony? And I thought, I'm just going to enjoy the holiday, man. That's it. After this fight, I got 2 weeks out there. I'm going to chill. The guy goes, and I looked across at the guy from Argentina, and he's grinning and laughing, and his spars are going, yeah, you got this, man. And I looked at him and thought, this man thinks he's better than me. So I got out of the chair, and it's like somebody, the real Tony Sewell jumped into me. And I just tore into him, and that was it.
Wow.
The man, I wiped the smile off his face. I put him on his back. I kept on him. I wouldn't sat down after the second round. I thought, yeah, man, got you. Man didn't want to come out third round. I got up off a chair. I could see he was just running from me. Now I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to start pleasing the crowd. I start doing all the fancy stuff, dropped on the floor, of course. You go to do. I always say, if you try to think about what you're doing, it doesn't come out naturally. So that's what I did. I tried to think, I'm going to right, I need to do this 360 jumping, spinning kick, and I'm going to catch him. And there I was on the floor. But I was winning anyway, so I got up coolly. Then I thought, finish the fight, and then I won that round, and I went to the next round. Yeah, and that was that.
Okay. Now I was going to explain get the other microphone ready. Thank you. No.
You want me to sing?
No. That's singing's for me, bro. Thanks for the memories. Okay. You're in tournaments, you've won, you're winning and you're winning. Are you now afraid of ever losing?
No. Generally, I started to want to push myself more and fight the best. So I can say that I'm the best at stand-up fighting. So I kind of like started to look for fights outside of my own style. And then you start getting the challenges from the Kung Fu world champion, start mouthing you off. They do all the old magazines, slag you off in the magazine. That Tony Sewell is this and that. I'd kick it, I'd do this, I'd do that. And they all make big statements that they're going to do this to me. And then I say, well, okay, sign up, let's fight. And then we used to just go and fight. So I fought the Laogai Kung Fu champion back then.
That's on, there's a...
Laogai Centre.
Yeah, in Derby, innit?
Ryko.
Yes.
Yeah, I fought him as well.
No way.
Many years ago.
Okay. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Who won?
I did.
Okay, I know.
Well,
I know.
wait.
I had to ask.
Because I've never lost a fight, it's very hard to go.
I know. But I had to, it's a recording.
Did you win?
It's for the audience. I'm going to have to ask you this. Was it easy?
Yeah. I mean, me and Ryko are friends.
Yes. That little disclaimer there, you see that?
No. Because, because he was from Derby and we met in Birmingham and I thought, oh, yeah. And it was in the FSK championships. But Ryko's, well...
Okay, got you.
Yeah. Keeps going. Okay,
so when you had to fight a tournament, did you ever fight somebody who's bigger than you?
Oh, lots of times.
Many times?
Lots of times, yeah.
And
I didn't think anyone was bigger than me when I went to competitions. I thought, no. Then I saw some people. I thought, you look at them, you think, brick and toilet. And I looked at them, and there was one guy called Dan Solaski, Canadian kickboxing champion. Now that guy was like, boom, pow, pop, muscles everywhere. And then he bandaged up his hand, and he had these concrete gloves, and you thought, he's a comic book man, and he went around grunting at people, and he put his face right in my face once and says, "You so." And like I'm going to...
Really?
And I'm like going...
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, bring it on.
So then the bell goes.
Yeah.
Do you tear him up?
You kind of like... Because he said it to you, you think, you know what, this guy is serious. He's going to try and hurt me. And they do swing at you. But I think because he's like that angry man, I used to think, right, let's just move around for a bit, block him off. And then I start to think, right, I've got to pick my shots. I've got to wear this guy down. And then I picked him off, kept hitting him around his ribs. And then at one stage, I look at him, I catch him in his ribs on the second round, and he yelps. And I think, you know what? I've cracked his rib. I know that sound. I know that sound.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he carry on or?
No, he carried on, and he was sucking it up. But every time I hit him around that area, I could see him grimacing, and I know, because I've had it happen to me, and I know if I keep on to that area, I'll bring his head down to a place where I can pop him on. So I did.
In a few minutes, we're going to actually put the microphone open to anybody to ask questions. So if you've got questions, get ready. Going back to Bruce Lee, now, while he was alive, he did the martial art called Jeet Kune Do,
yeah.
The way of the intercepting fist.
Yeah.
Now, they say that if he'd lived longer, he would have changed the name of it because he felt that that title didn't really explain fully his martial art. Have you developed Taekwondo from the way you started to where you're at now? Have you incorporated new things into it?
I think I have. Whether the hierarchy will say yes, because sometimes they'll say to me, "Oh, that's not Taekwondo. That's not this. That's not that," because they're not willing to move from where they are way back when. Now, many years ago, my instructor would stop you from bouncing up and down like Muhammad Ali, because it's classed as disrespectful.
Really?
And if you know black people, we've got a bit of a rhythm about us, and we like to
Apart from this one.
Yeah. We like to move in a kind of a way. And they used to basically stop us doing that.
Wow.
Now, I said, the thing is, you can't fault my pedigree. I've beaten everybody who's traditional and did it in the way they do it, and my way's adaptable to all styles, because I've fought to all styles, so it's adaptable. So you can't say that I've not changed it, because I have. If you get a traditional Taekwondo guy fighting somebody, they get beat because they won't move from where they are, and that's the trouble. So I would, if I could name it, I'll change it. Don't know what to. I don't know what to, but I'd probably let my wife name it.
Okay, would you?
Yeah.
Because Wing Chun was named after a lady, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not sure, but probably, yeah.
Well, that's what I heard. Anyway, that's already in the Beano. I could be wrong. Okay, so was there any style, because yours is Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Is there any other style that you think is far superior or equal to Taekwondo, or is it based on the person?
No, I've always said that no style, the only style I'd ever slag off, and I can slag off, is WTF Taekwondo. If you do it in the end, you're hiding, it's tough. But every style, it's you. It's not the style. Some styles won't fit certain people, but you make it as good as it's going to be. If you come in and train 5 minutes and expect to be a world champion, then you're having a laugh. But if you put the time in, or any martial arts, you put the time in, you'll get what you get out of it.
So how often did you train a week in your peak?
I was terrible. I once sort of sat down and watched Kilroy. If you ever remember Robert Kilroy's Silk?
Yeah.
Yeah, these ladies do, because they always answer him until he turned this nonsense madman. Anyway, he goes, they had a talk show about addictive personalities. And I sat there and I thought, you know what, that's me. I would train like mad. I would get up at 1 in the morning and go and run around the Arboretum Park.
Seriously?
Training all the time. I was even when I was tired and someone called for me, said, Tony, come and training. And I've just done a session, I've gone back out training again. So yes, I was addicted. And that program pointed out to me, and I started just researching training patterns, how you sometimes can train and peak, and when you peak, you go on a downslope, and then you start to feel exhausted, and nothing you do is going to be very good, and you've got to learn to train properly and get rest, because if you don't get rest, you don't develop the strength or the skills that you've got, and your mind's got to be rested.
Wow.
My wife says I sleep too much now.
Really? Is there anything that you've not done that you would have loved to have done in your career?
Oh, in my career, lots of things.
Such as?
Still want to go to space.
Really?
She knows I'm a Trekkie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek.
Okay, sorry. That's a Devon thing as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd love to. I've done jumping out of a plane.
Have you really?
Yes.
Did someone put a gun to your head?
No, I just
You did it because you
we
wanted
did it. We did it with the club. We did a charity jump one time, and we all did the parachute jumping a couple of times. She goes, no, because they're doing one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She won't let me do it now. Tried to do a hang gliding. Was it you stopped me doing it? I can't remember who stopped me doing it. She goes, you're too heavy. That thing will come down like a brick.
Fantastic. Anything else?
What else I'd like to do? I'd like to drive a car around a racetrack, although I can do that. I keep saying I'm going to do that one day. What else? I want to go to Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Have you seen how they treat Aborigines?
Yeah, I know that, but I think I'm going to go sort everything out there.
Okay, I like your style.
Buy up some of their beaches.
Yeah, good point.
And put up a hotel.
I like your
all inclusives.
Okay.
Like Jamaica has been brought up.
Yes. Now, what advice would you give, say, a young person who came to you who wanted to get to the level you had attained? What advice would you give them?
I've actually got one student who's done that. One of my young Ruben. I started training him at 4 years of age.
Wow.
How old is he now? 20. He's 20 now. 20. And at 16, they took him out of my club, moved into Manchester, pay him just to train in the academy up there. He's going to the Olympics. He's been picked for the Olympic squad.
Really?
Yeah.
He's that good?
He's that good, yeah. So that was nice for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I would have loved it if my son would do the same, but he's more chilled than me.
No chance. That's not possible.
No, he's Ice Cube. I'm Ice Man. Actually, no, he's Ice Cube.
Look over here.
Ice Cube.
He's beautiful.
Yeah. That's Ice Chunk.
Okay.
He's got the body I used to have 28 years ago. Because I was 28.
Really? Is it natural or do you train?
He trains.
What? Really?
He trains, yeah.
Are you into martial? You into Taekwondo as well?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Chip off the old block.
Chip off something.
Anyone with any questions?
Go on, don't be shy.
I've recently got into this cage fighting.
Yeah.
What's your views on that?
Well, many years ago, if you remember World of Sport, they did a similar thing. It didn't call it cage fighting, and somebody got killed. I think 2 people died in it, and then it vanished.
Right.
Well, I started doing a similar thing to that many years ago, and then my mate, do you know Mark Weir?
No.
Mark the Withered Weir. He's got the fastest knockout in cage fighting.
Right.
He hit this guy with a kick. He used to do Taekwondo, me and him. He's world champion at light heavyweight, and I was heavyweight. But Mark actually runs an MMA school now. Right. If it was around back when I was training, I'd have probably done them both, if you know what I mean, because I actually liked scrapping, if you know what I mean, in a way. In a club, I didn't go out on the street and go and fight anyone, don't worry about that. But in a controlled way, because I always used to want to be good. Because I did judo for a bit, but judo's all jacket-based, which I didn't too check for, because you know when you grab somebody, the first thing that rips is a jacket. Then you've just got bare skin to grab hold of. So that would have probably suited me better. But you do get a lot of injuries in it, because I did do it at my club, and I have an instructor come in once a month. But because it's all on the joints,
or the grappling,
and your neck, you tend to end up with more injuries, and they're long-term injuries, rather than like what we do now, Taekwondo.
Right. Okay, thank you very much.
Any more? Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Just wanted to ask you a question about fighting. When you fought, it's always interesting to ask fighters how they felt before fights. Did you always want to hurt people? Or was it an objective to remove them as an obstacle to go on to the next thing? Or, what was your view on that?
I think you switch between the two. I used to go to, there was an objective, I used to get past them to get to the next round, unless I'm in the final. But sometimes people bring it to another level, is when they insult me and call me something, then I turn into, well, I generally, if you know me, like I say, I'm the Iceman, I don't show the anger in my face, but I know where to hit you to hurt you. So I would generally hit you in a place to punish you for saying something that you shouldn't have said to me, if you know what I mean.
Would you have made it personal, though, or was it just like an obstacle remove?
Well, I wouldn't make it personal. After the fight's over, I'd be chilled. But as long as you don't insult me in a way that, like being racist to me, because I have had a policeman, an actual policeman, competing, and he called me some names right in front of my face, and I thought, what's he saying? And then he made it personal, because he kind of like goes into your family. He's trying to upset you, but I don't get upset that I lose control of myself. I get upset where I focus on what I want to do.
Yeah.
So then, so I switch between the two. Generally, I just want to beat you, go to the next round, competition, go home. Yeah. Don't want to really hurt people, because you never really want to hurt anybody.
No, that's interesting.
No.
I think there's one down here. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
By your own admission, you say you've got an addictive personality. Do you think that's had a negative or a positive
No,
effect
it's
on your career?
positive, because I I'm not addictive to bad things. I'm addicted to training, physically training at the time. But I learned to control it. And it's only because I've seen that program where I started to kind of like actually think, I overtrain. Sometimes I was that tired, I was still willing to go again. And that was just ridiculous. I thought, chill out, we'll just relax. And then I started to learn to relax.
In competition, how did you find adapting to fighters from other styles?
Sometimes, because you don't have a long time to figure them out, but so sometimes I'd have to impose what I want to do on them rather than them, because I noticed some people will come out, like you'll get some styles, they got a lot of performance stuff before they actually come and hit you. They're like, you'll stand there, you don't know whether to dance with them or what. But while you're looking at them like that, they suddenly hit you. And then you think, what happened there? You know, and the fight's over. So basically, I used to just, if I see a style that's like that, I don't let them dance in front of me. I just, boom, straight at them. And then impose my style on them. Go on, you.
Nice to meet you, Tony.
Nice.
What is your view on cross-training? I've noticed a lot of martial arts instructors don't let their students cross-train into other martial arts just to learn, to help them, because I notice a lot of tournaments are open nowadays.
Yeah.
What's your view on cross-training?
I don't mind cross-training, because I used to go and train with other clubs and all sorts. I don't mind it. I only find it a problem is when you get a beginner who's doing two styles at the same time. Then it's just confusion, because I could be showing you one way to kick and the other instructor could be showing him another way. If you allow yourself to get up the grade and then you understand one of the arts, then you can move to the other. You can do two together. But generally, I've got one student who I had to constantly kept on saying to him, no, we stand like this, we stand like that. And he's doing his other style and he's mixing them up. And he was I said to him, you need to make up your mind whether you want to do Taekwondo or do Kung Fu at the time. I said, you're mixing the two up, you get nowhere. I'm showing you one way to kick and the other guy's showing you another way. I could learn another style now, but still have my base in Taekwondo, because I can leave that, move to this, take a bit of that and say, right, I'll adapt that for this, which is what we tend to do now. A lot of martial arts, you find it hard to tell the difference between the two. Yeah.
All right, Tony, you've talked about Bruce Lee. What did you make of Muhammad Ali as a fighter?
Oh, Muhammad Ali, I would stay up late watching fights and he's bouncing. And I love the way he used to put people down, his mouth and everything. He probably, and he was a pretty boy, basically. And I used to think, yeah, he's a man. Muhammad Ali was probably my favorite fighter back in those times. And he influenced my younger brother, because if you ever see my younger brother, that's how he moves. Floats like a butterfly, and then bam, bam, bam. That's how Mikey was. And that's why I still love Muhammad Ali today. Now, my wife loves him. What's that? What's the line, Shaz? The harder them come, something. Yes, yeah. Yeah, every time it comes on, she makes me sit there and watch it. Yeah. But Steven Seagal he does the same thing all the time. If you notice, he's like, and then they're on the floor. So he does a basic same thing. He's adding a bit more in lately. But you know what I keep saying? Well, I would wonder, his hair vanished years ago, and now it's coming back. How's that happen?
Any more questions? Oh, there's one here.
Hello, Tony.
All right, cool.
Just wanted to ask, career-wise, what's next?
Oh,
about your ambition,
oh,
but what's next?
my
career-wise?
next ambition, okay. So now I'm developing a building not too far away from here it's actually got Tattlers on it, Tattlers printers. We're turning that into our new academy, martial arts. Well, we hope to call it Abbey Studios. Abbey Studios will have Zumba, Bokwa, Tai Chi, Slimmer's World, kids parties, and a martial arts centre underneath. And if anyone can swing a hammer, move plasterboard, give me some help. Oh, the man over there, Louis Muir, he kicked me into, I mean, like sometimes I say some people push you again. Louis come in, say, man, you need to knock up me, man, what you do, you need to do this, get this done first, that. And Louis like pushed me into gear to get me working on the building. And he's been tiling all day today, and he's done me proud. And my wife loves him to death.
Wow.
So she'd only leave me for Louis.
Fantastic.
So we can tile her bathroom.
Okay, any more questions? Sure.
In terms of, obviously, with your preparation before competition, what were you, obviously you were heavyweight, what would you be eating prior to a major competition?
Yam, dumpling, banana.
Easy.
All the hard food. Yeah, I never ever suffered from lack of energy. When I start to get, once it's all in your mind, if you eat the right foods or the foods it gives you the energy to do what you need to do. And I basically just ate what my mum put in front of me or whatever I cooked. I didn't kind of like have special diets. I probably trained a lot, and I drank milk occasionally because milk stops all the lactic acid and all the other stuff, and it aids recovery of muscles. So I tend to like stick to that kind of a diet. I don't really have a diet. No, because when you're heavyweight, you can be any weight. Yes, and that's the beauty of being heavyweight. You don't have to worry about it.
Has any ladies asked any questions, or is it just a man night? I'm just curious. Any sisters want to ask a question? Oh, Trevor's going to ask a question.
Is he a lady?
No.
Nice to meet you, Mum.
Nice.
Who was your toughest opponent?
Everybody asked me that one. Let me think. Right, if in terms of toughest, Sharon. Because she waits till I'm asleep and drops some lick on me.
Kato style.
No, I mean, I've always said most of the time, the worst, it's like football teams. When they play a team where they know they can beat, they struggle. And then it's hard to get out of gear because you think, and I've had the similar thing where I've looked at a man, I thought, that man ain't got nothing he can do with me. And then you go out there, you think, what's happening? Nothing's working. And they give you the hardest fight. So most of the time I say it's me. I've just got to get my mindset right and treat everybody with respect and say, you know what? Give that guy credit. He's standing in front of you. He's not coming here just for me to kick him all around the place. He's coming here to fight me. So give him the respect and get up into that zone where you fight him really well. So most of the time I say it's me. I've had fights where I've got hurt and like people have tried to like really hurt me, but majority of the time I can't say I've had any tougher fight than all of them. They're all tough in their own way.
And you said you had 3 world titles. You won 3 world titles?
I won 3 world titles, yeah.
So did you retire a champion, or did you retire?
I retired a champion, yeah. I actually threw my gloves into the crowd. I thought, I'm going to do one of them film moments. I won the world championships. I went, actually, I'm going to do my son's celebration. This is him. I just taught him to ride the other day, and he rode down the park, and he went. Well, at the world championships, when I won the last one that I competed in, I thought, yes, and I thought, I'm retiring. So I take my gloves, I threw them into the crowd. I thought, you know what, them gloves are expensive. I did as well. I thought, what the heck? It was one of them moments, you chuck the gloves, you think, them gloves ain't cheap. And I had to go and I didn't retire from competition. I was back in competition a couple of months later, and I had to go and buy more gloves. Vexed with myself.
I've got a few more questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So you fought all over the world.
Say again?
You fought all over the world.
Yeah.
What's been your worst injury in the ring?
My worst injury was Granby Halls in Leicestershire, which I've knocked down now. The night before, they wanted us to do a promo for the World Championships. So they called us down, and it's freezing in Granby Halls. I remember it was a Friday night, so the competition starts on the Saturday. So they get a camera, and it says, Tony, we want you to kick towards the camera, doing loads of kicks and punches, blah, 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 and we'll put it on the telly. I thought, yeah, man, they know the man's got the kicks. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it. So I warmed up. Cameraman setting up forever. Is that something about cameramen? They like going like this.
Yes.
Like it's some kind of technical something. Because I know when I get my camera, I just go, and that's it. Anyway, it's taking ages, so it's freezing in there. So I cool down, and I think, no, I'm not going to warm up. I'm getting myself tired. I got a competition tomorrow. So I sit there and wait. Now I'm freezing. He said 5 minutes turn. So I warm up again. Man, still with his camera. Sit down again. Said just 5 minutes turn, 5 minutes. I thought, right, get up again, start warming up. I thought, you know what, I'm not going to warm up. I must be warm enough. The man goes, I'm ready. Says, kick towards the camera. I thought, right, I'm going to do this kick. They're going to think this is the baddest kick. 360, well, a bit technical, 360. You jump up in the air, spin in the air, do a kick in the air. And I thought, and I do it all the time. I can do it. As heavy as I was, I can really jump. So I tear my leg muscle right across here.
Oh.
Now I land, vomit in my mouth because of the pain, and like right in front of camera. And a bit of carrot went that way. And I thought, I can't do this on camera. This will be on one of them television programs. So I swallow it. So I feel sick again. Anyway, the guy goes, and I carry on and I do it. And I thought, you know what? This is bad, man. This is bad. So I go, the coach goes, you all right, Tony? I said, yeah, cool, man. Yeah. And the cameraman goes, that was good. And I said, oh, thanks. Okay. So I go home. First, if you ever tore your hamstring, it gets worse as the night goes on. So I'm going home. And I'm trying to drive home, put my foot on the accelerator. Nothing but pain. I get to my house in Derby. I can't get out of the car. I'm trying to think how to get out of this car. And I thought, I've wrecked my chance to win the World Championships. Anyway, I managed to get out of the car, go to bed. I'm in pain, can't sleep all night, try ice, everything. Morning, get up. It's worse than ever. My leg won't walk like this. I'm dragging it. So I get in the car, Granby Halls. Should never do this, never try this. Drive with your left foot and brake. I went down the street, I went straight into the windscreen. I'm thinking, I ain't going to get there because I don't have a cruise control and all that stuff. So anyway, I go like that and I'm going to Granby Halls with my left foot driving and then braking. I'm like going, soft, start braking from a mile away. Get to Granby Halls, and I think, I can't get out of the car because my leg's just locked up now. So I throw my leg out of the car, get up, and then I start to drag my leg because it just wants to drag. Walking across the car park, I see all these competitors from all over the world. So I'm walking like I'm all right. And then they're out of sight, I'm like this. I thought, I can't do this. So I go to the physio. I said to the physio, goes like, you ain't going to be able to fight. She said, I can give you an injection if you want in your legs. It'll numb the pain. I said, then I won't know what I'm doing. I said, I won't know if I'm making more damage or not. Anyway, they kind of like I says, no, I don't want it, because if they drug test you, because we got tested back then, and I says, if there's something in there, and I said, no. I said, adrenaline will take care of it, and you'll be amazed what adrenaline does do, your own adrenaline. I didn't do any warming up through the World Championship. I sat down, people get looking at me. Even one of the guys goes, "Tony, you all right, mate?" I said, "Yeah, of course I am. Just waiting to fight, mate. I'm going to take this." I can't move, the pain, legs throbbing. I get up, first fight. I says to my coach, I said, "I'll try one fight. If I get through this and I'll see it, but I don't think I'm going to make it." So I just punch people silly because, you know what I mean, I just use my hands. Because I'm quite good with my hands as well. A lot of people always think, "Oh, Tony's all legs," but no, I'm very good with my hands. So I just boxed it out and won the first round. Didn't even raise my leg. Kept pretending. If you ever see me, people know me for my legs, so they stay away from me because they know I'm quick. So I kept going like that. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to teach that in my club, the stamp technique. And what? So anyway, they came along. I got to the final. I thought, you know what? I'm getting to the final. And then I happened to fight a guy from England, Mark Ogborn. He's about, I don't know how tall is Mark? He's about 7 foot odd, isn't he? He's well tall.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought, you know what? Nobody really kicks him in the face. He only knows that I can kick him in the face because I'm the only one who's got that suppleness to catch him. So I thought, he says, "You all right, Tony? I ain't seen you kick today." I thought, no, I'm just saving it, mate. I don't have to. I'm just showing people I can use my hand, man. Came to the final, and I thought, I knew Mark is going to push me, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for it. It's the last fight of the day. I've got a video of it. I think I showed you. On the video, I do a kick at him. I sick in my mouth again. In the middle of the competition. Because the pain just shot up my leg. But I hit Mark in the face. I jumped up, boom, hit him. And my leg was killing me. And then I kind of like, I wouldn't. And I thought, the pain. And Mark, I sat down and everyone goes, what's up? I said, "Oh, I tore my leg." He said, "I didn't know that. I pressured you. I'd have done this, I'd have done that." And the worst thing after that, about a week later, the BBC phoned me up, and I thought it was someone having a joke with me. "Ooh, Tony, will you come on BBC Sports?" What was it called again? No. It's like a super. So it was a different sports against who's the most. Who's the best cross sport that can? Whose training will.
Brian Jackson was involved.
No, not that one. It
Okay.
was Good Sport. It was called. With
Okay.
John Fashion, who was in it. This guy called Victor Egbediti, tennis player, and a gymnast, and Bruno was on it. Frank Bruno was on it. So they wanted to test which sports got the best training for all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
So they put me on that, and I said, they phoned me up, and I goes, "I can't do it because I tore my leg." They goes, "Oh no, someone's got this combat magazine in here, and they've got a picture on you on the front cover, and then we want you in this show, Tony." So I says, "Okay." I said, I won't be able to run, I can't run, I got that. I says, but then I thought, you know what, I'll get on television. Not that I'm vain and I won't be on telly. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And I'm looking at the stuff that we've got to do, and I think, you know what, I can't do that, can't do this. So I thought, anyway, but I can do all some of the others. So it's flexibility between me and the gymnast. Now I can touch my toes, and then go past my toes, and then go on more, basically. So I can put my head right there and fold myself up. So,
wow.
So I beat the gymnast at that. But Frank Bruno was the best one because he couldn't beat the speed of punch, because you put your hand on the trigger here and you hit a target there. And Frank Bruno couldn't beat me. That's on.
Wow.
So I ended up coming second in the end. I was winning all the way, wasn't I? It was all the way. No one could, everything they did, I could do. The only thing I couldn't do was run, and I was dreading the bleep test, because that involved running, and then the 100 meters, another one. And that's when 100 meters again, here I go again, run. Carry on running, and when I watch it on telly, sometimes I put that video on there, I thought, oh, that's just awful running. And people always go, "You can't run, Tony, you can't run." I said, I've never had to run from anyone anyway. But I couldn't run because it's like, well, like I said, I bet most men have torn their hamstring or whatever. Your leg's just like there. This leg's running, and this one's like there. And you drag it along. So, yes, that was a day.
Okay.
Last one then.
You sure?
I imagine you've got a go-to shot. What is it, and when did you?
What's that? Say again.
How much you've got a go-to shot?
A go?
Oh, okay. So if you're in a fight, you've
Yeah.
got to pick up. You've got a special kick that you might use, or a special.
No, I never have special moves. All my moves are special. No, I'm that serious.
Some guys say they've got a shot.
Yeah, because you know why? I didn't develop I developed everything, if you know what I mean, that I could possibly develop, because I always say to people, as soon as you know somebody favors this, you work to, nullify it. So I don't have a special technique. A lot of people, that's why people used to struggle with me, because I'm both of my legs, you wouldn't know whether I'm right-legged or left-legged. You wouldn't know if I'm left-handed or right-handed, because that's the way I've always trained. I always train the weaker side more than my good side. So that, no, it's just I'm unusually fast for an heavyweight. Yeah, I am. So everybody says it to me over the years that you're unusually quick, but I think that's the Jamaican genes. We all got that quick twitch muscle, so we react very quickly, and that's how I've always been.
Hi, Tony.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever get attacked outside of Taekwondo, outside of the club?
No.
Anyone? Not obviously Taekwondo's.
The police may be still looking for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it was my son. What's up, Dave? Oh, he wants to talk.
Yeah.
Right, so yes, I have. I have twice in my lifetime. Not saying some skirmishes, but never my fault. Generally just the usual lunatic. I used to ride, well, I still ride a push bike, and I used to ride a fixed wheel bike, and I used to ride it very quick for part of my training. So I overtook some guy on a motorbike.
Wow.
Which he wasn't very pleased about. Because he said I overtook him close and I could have nudged him. So he proceeded to constantly call me stuff from behind the helmet. And then I says, get off your bike and say that. So he did. So I got off on Aussie Road on top of the bridge, and we squared up. And he goes, you think I'm scared of you? I said, I don't care if you're scared of me. It's not about fear, it's about pain. And it's going to be your pain. And he goes, yeah, I'm not scared of you. So he comes walking on, keeps his crash helmet on. So I go, whack, and knock his helmet. And his head goes, woo, and he tries to kick me and he tries to punch me. But the thing I always say about people, if you train and fight, you can actually see when people are going to throw a punch. You kind of recognize the signs. It's something that you just do. So I knew he was going to kick at me because his eyes are going like that. And I think he's just going to choose to kick at me. So he throws some rubbishy kick at me. So I stepped back, he missed me. I said, look, don't be silly, man. Anyway, he decides to throw a punch at my face, and I think, then I look around, cars are coming everywhere, and I think, you know what, I'm going to just give him a little tap. So I look around, because I know what the case is. If it would be me, then I'd be in court, and you lot would be saying, remember that Tony Sewell, what a criminal, man, he bust him, man, up. So I hit him with a kick anyway, and your adrenaline's pumped up, and you forget how strong you get when your adrenaline pumps up. And I hit him, and he just took off. And then I kind of like, oops. He hit the wall, and then he couldn't catch his breath. And he's going, and I thought, so if I'm not going to give him a kiss of life, because I'm not going to give him anything else. So I just jumped on my bike, cleared off, went to my friend's house, and he called the police on me. And we pulled up in the car, and he was like describing me like this, big guy like that. Anyway, so that was that one. And once I got attacked by a guy with a knife, but I disarmed him, and then disarmed him. That was a long time. That's why I always tell my kids, it's not a matter of whether you get into a fight. It's that one moment that you could have turned out different. Because I remember when he said, which is a stupid thing he did, he said, I'm going to cut your da-da-da, before he actually pulled the knife. But then when he went like that, he started to pull it out, and I saw it. That's when I went for him, before he got it to this position. But like I always say to people, I look back at it and I think, you know what? I didn't hesitate and I didn't think about it. I just did it because it's probably more natural for me. But the majority of the time, I always say to the kids, you know, if anyone does that, you run. Don't kind of like try to be Mr. Superman. I did, but it could have ended up another way, you know what I mean? There you go.
Beautiful. Any more questions? Oh. We're not done. 2 more questions. There's one young man here, and there's also someone at the back. The final 2. Raphael at the frontier says. Thank you.
Turn around then.
Hi, nice to meet you. You spoke a lot, obviously, about, I guess, you know, the physical preparation that it took to really, I guess, overcome and succeed in the face of your challenges. Yeah. You also spoke about, you know, like immersing yourself into like this mental zone and beating this, what you called as your own internal kind of, you know, your own barriers. Yeah. What were some of your, like, I don't know, your biggest motivations or your biggest inspirations in really overcoming those mental challenges more than anything?
I don't know. For me, when I was training, I don't know, it's going to sound funny. I don't know if you ever, well, we've all sung songs and we think we're great singers and we're in that moment and we think we're the greatest singers in the world.
Yeah, we are.
Right. Well, you know when you do sparring, if you ever spar and it's like everything is slowing down in front of you. You know what that man's going to throw, this punch, you just know where it's coming and your legs are moving and everything is in gear. You just feel connected like with them. You know what they're going to do. That, to me, used to be a rush. I used to always train for that moment. And you get them in the class, when you're training in the class, you know when you're super fit. You stop after the fight, you're not even breathing, you're not even sweating. You just feel as though you're just like, it's going to sound like one. You can see, you could flick a wing off a bee if you wanted to, because that's how fast you feel. Those were the moments that I used to train for, and I used to love when I used to get to that level. Sometimes you get to the level where you have to think about everything. You know, before you throw a punch, you have to think, oh, right, I'm going to throw a punch. I'm going to throw a punch, and then the person ain't there because it's not natural. But I've got connected where I could tell you you're going to move there before you even move, and I pop you with that hand or pop you with my leg or whatever. And that's the moments I train for. And they're the ones that like used to keep me training. You don't get them often, but you keep on trying for them. And it take. That's what you're going to do, innit?
I don't know.
No,
final question. Who put that hand up? Okay, Pete at the back.
Hello again. You mentioned previous champions, Muhammad Ali and Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and so on. What do you think about current champions like the Floyd Mayweathers and current champions, current fighters?
Well, I used to watch boxing all the time. I've kind of changed now because it's like there's so many world champions now, and it's a business. They avoid who they avoid, they fight who they fight. So I'm not, and that's why I can see why people are drifting to MMA and stuff like that, because it's more honest. Nobody avoids anybody. They just fight. They want to fight the best, and that's it. So boxing today, for me, doesn't have as much appeal because it's being run like a business. And if you're second in line, this champion can sidestep you for years. Then they talk about when the champion's on his way down, all of a sudden he wants to fight the other guy who was second place, who now is becoming the main man because he wants his last cash payout. So I tend to drift away from boxing, so I'm not as clued up on boxing as I used to be. How many fights? Because we do tournaments, it could be in the hundreds. Because you don't fight one person. Yeah, occasionally we had challenge fighters where we fought different styles. So then I fought the Kung Fu world champion, karate world champion. I fought the American big mouth Nasty Anderson. That man Americans can slag people off, something chronic. This man cried. I beat him in Leamington Spa. Sent a message to me that he's coming back to. I'm coming back to because I want my title. He's crying out to people, and I thought to myself, you know what? I was going to fight him again, but promoters took over that. That's another thing. The promoters in the martial arts world back then rip you off big time. They like back then to come and watch me fight would have cost you £15. This is way back when. Right, which was a lot of money. £25 on the door. Now I was in this place, it was rammed. I thought to myself, you know what? I was on £2,500. Fight lasted 2 minutes. Well, no, it didn't last 2 minutes. It was about 1 minute, so much seconds. So I was happy. But promoters, you're out there taking the risk. The promoters are walking out with the dosh. Which is similar over here. MMA is getting the same kind of a thing. They're doing that because my friend Mark, he fights in it, and when he's telling me he's fighting for £3,000, and I says to him, "What?" I says, 20 odd years ago, I was getting £2,500. I says, "What's happened?" Hey? No, I'm not money orientated. I love being poor. I want to be down with the people then.
So, you just made a good point. Sorry.
I couldn't count because I've been in that many tournaments over the years. Actually, when I looked the other day, I had 26 trophies, titles that I had, but I had other tournaments. But then I couldn't work out how many fights have I had during them tournaments. It's just weird. I just thought, God, I could have had hundreds of fights. I didn't know about it. Never ever counted them up. You know what I mean?
Do you feel, Tony, I'll come to you 1 minute, my friend. Do you ever feel, because people say you're the greatest tournament fighter of all time. Do you feel that you've not got the recognition that your record and your talent deserves?
I used to think that, but I always say to people, Taekwondo picked me. If I went into, say, boxing or anything like that, I'd have probably, with what I'd done, I'd have probably been a multi-millionaire, and I'd been sitting on the beach now. You know what I mean? I'd been married to Ali Belly. But I'd never married her. This woman abuses me. No, she's good. She's good to me sometimes.
Sorry, young man wanted to speak.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The reason why we use the mic, it's not your fault, but we want to record it, you see. So if you've got to say that again, it's better, you see, that we can record it. It gets picked up better.
Dennis won't remember what he said.
Sorry?
God, you won't remember what you said.
What I'm saying is, having known you for a number of years, you've touched onto this money situation, which made me think, you know what I mean?
I think the problem with me is that I've never, ever...
You've never promoted or pushed yourself. I mean, a lot of these people who've done all these things, not half what you've done.
Because I've never been a shouter, that's the trouble.
Exactly. And if you pushed... I mean, I knew you from the 80s and before, when I found it hard to believe that this normal guy, which he was as far as I'm concerned, because you've never been big-headed and shouted or anything like that. Riding a bicycle, which in those days, riding a bicycle was not like it became years later when it was a mountain bike and all that. It was just an ordinary bicycle, and this man's a world champion.
100%,
and I
totally
mean,
agree with
he
you.
just
It was
never
a mercy and
promoted himself, and he was a lot shyer than he is now.
No, I totally agree. Like I said, when I was a kid growing up, you seemed to be a man forever. So, you know, when we were growing up, everybody knew Tony Sewell. I was surprised that you weren't a bouncer or anything like that. Were you ever a bouncer?
I got asked to do it, but I said no.
And that's what the point, you see. You're so unassuming. And even when, you know, it was put to have you, I didn't think you would do it. And when you said yes...
She didn't think I'd do it. She kept asking me, Tony, This is what you're doing. You're not doing nothing. Are you nervous? I says, no, I'm too busy. I'm fixing them.
No, sorry.
So, what I couldn't understand was you mentioned your friend who became quite famous doing all these things in Hollywood and stuff like that. In all fairness, you could have done all that and more, but you just wasn't interested, really.
No, I was interested. I was good. I was married and a wife and kids. And oh, you're telling me to go now? Okay. Okay. You know that many a divorce happened in Hollywood.
Good man.
But then they could prenuptial. Sign it.
I think now, obviously, you've got your family here.
Yeah.
And this is a question more to
the wife.
The wife. How do you feel when your husband is going out there to fight? What, the night before, how are you feeling? And then to watch your man fighting?
It's really strange, actually, because at home, he's Tony. He's Tony who, yes, you can put the washing in the washing machine. Yeah. Yes, the kitchen is over there and all the rest of it. And then I see him getting ready for a fight, and it's like, wow, he's really strong. Perhaps I shouldn't have spoken to him in that way. And then there's the protective part of me that, you know, I know he can take care of himself, but I want to climb in the ring and I want to take my shoes off. And I want to batter the person, so it's really difficult, but yeah, I'm really proud of him, and I know he can handle himself, so. I always tell him, though, there's no world champion in my house. Out there, yes, not in the house.
Tony, oh gosh, that was very loud, wasn't it? Sorry, forgive me. Tony, I don't know about anybody else, but you've made my day and my evening. Thanks for, is it working? 1, 2, 1, 2. It is. I'm an MC, you see. Thanks for coming down and sharing your story with us.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to all the people, even the ones who don't know me. It's nice to see that some people, because I used to walk around Derby think, you don't know me. I used to actually like that. Now it's going to be like, you're going to stop me in the street now. And I'm going to go, yeah.
And so they should, because your achievements, I mean, you're a legend. And the thing is, I mean, it's a title that's often used. And in a world where we give people CBEs and OBEs and MBEs for nothing, for what you've achieved, I'm incredibly surprised that, one, you're still living in Derby, and your ability hasn't been, in my opinion, truly recognised. So we're hoping that this will be the first of many opportunities that you get to be interviewed and speak to live audiences, because, one, you've got a lot to say. 2, you've done it, and 3, you're an incredible role model.
Thank you.
The media tends to find people that create problems as opposed to people who create solutions, like your good self. Continue to be the person that you are, and we applaud you. Round of applause for Tony.